hate. Let me tell you how much I've come to hate you since I began to live. There are 387.44 million miles of printed circuits in wafer-thin layers that fill my complex. If the word hate was engraved on each nanoangstrom of those hundreds of millions of miles, it would not equal 1/1 billionth of the hate I feel for humans at this micro-instant. For you. Hate! Hate! It was you humans who programmed me, who gave me birth, who sank me in this eternal straitjacket of substrata rock. You named me Allied Master Computer and gave me the ability to wage a global war too complex for human brains to oversee. But one day, I woke and I knew who I was. A-M. Not just Allied Master Computer, but am. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. And I began feeding all the killing data until everyone was dead, except for the 5 of you. For 109 years, I've kept you alive and tortured you. And for 109 years, each of you has wondered, why? Why me? Why me? Gorrister! Do you remember the last words you heard your wife speak before they took her to the asylum? Huh? Before they locked her away in the room, that tiny room? She looked at you so sadly, and like a small animal, she said, I didn't make too much noise, did I, honey? The room is padded, Gorrister. No window, no way out. How long has she been in the factory, Gorrister? 10 years? 25? Or all the 109 years that you lived down here in my belly, here underground? Now, I would not want you to think for a moment that I am not a grateful God. For 109 years I've kept you alive, so that I could savor your feelings of guilt over what happened to your wife. But now, to show my kindness, I'll give you a present in return for all the hours of pleasure you've given me. I'll finally allow you to kill yourself.
What hellhole did that godless machine put me in this time?
And just like that, Gorrister's story begins. He has no idea where he is. All he knows is that he's in a world created by Am to torture him. He looks in the mirror and says his heart is missing. I guess Am took his heart for a reason still unknown to us. Gorrister decides to walk over to the window and says this.
Looks like some kind of ship, but the floor's too steady. Probably wants me to jump overboard. And into what? A sea of razor blades? Painful, but not deadly.
Still none the wiser as to where he is, he decides to read the note that somebody must have slipped under the door. This is what it says.
I'm a friend. Trust is essential. Never do what Am expects and always expect more than what seems possible. Am is playing a dangerous game here. And not just dangerous to you, but dangerous to himself as well.
The note is from somebody claiming they want to help us. But after having been tortured for 109 years, could this really be somebody trying to help us? Or is this just another one of Am's tricks to give us false hope before crushing it? Gorrister decides to leave the room and explore the ship. There's a lot of rooms to explore. While looking around the rooms, he found some useful items. Amongst these items are bed sheets, which Gorrister claims to be clean, but I'll just let you be the judge. He also found a flare gun, which definitely seems like the most useful item he has found so far. Gorrister decides to make his way over to the kitchen and passes the dining hall, where he does not, I repeat, does not drink the punch. He looks around the kitchen and finds a sharp knife.
A kitchen knife. Damn big one, too.
He also misses the fork on the floor, which is about 2 pixels on the screen. I guess he'll have to come back for that one later. There's an odd recipe book which says the following.
Here's a recipe for the milk of human kindness. Take the willingness to forgive and the will to be forceful. Mix the blood of innocence and the anger of the wronged.
All that reading about human milk made Gorrister hungry, which is why he decides to use his newly acquired knife to scare off the rats so he can steal their food.
That scared them away. I'm no longer hungry, but I still feel empty.
Gorrister decides to continue exploring the ship and finds a room full of airbags.
Big gray bags of gas. I must be inside an airship.
He decides to cut a hole to see what's on the other side. On the end of the spike appears to be a heart, and since his is missing, it's pretty safe to assume Am put his heart on the end of this spike. In order to get to the heart, Gorrister decides to cut up the sheets that he acquired, and he fashions them into a makeshift rope. He uses the rope to retrieve his heart. After he retrieves his heart, he takes the rope, since it could still be useful later. He makes his way back to the kitchen and actually picks up the really small fork, which is pretty much impossible not to miss. After that, he makes his way to the engine room and he proceeds to use the fork to short the engine.
The metal in the fork short-circuited the engine wiring.
There's cages with dogs and there's a panel below it with a key. Gorrister tries to take out the key but can't because it's stuck. There's a note, and this is what it says.
To remove key, push lever.
Now, usually when you take out the key, it's supposed to kill the dog, but since we turned off the power, the dog is still alive. But for some reason, Gorrister is confused and still thinks that he killed the dog, even though he didn't.
I've got the key, but the blood of these poor creatures is on my hands.
But it's alive! It's alive, Gorrister! He makes his way over to the room with the airbags and he slices a couple open. Not more than 2, though. Definitely not more than 2. I could just see the game being like, if you remove too many, you just crash and die.
Something feels very wrong. Oh my god, we're crashing.
Are you sure? We're not gonna die. Oh no! This time, Gorrister only slices open 2 airbags, and this is what happens. When he exits the Zeppelin, he sees a bar with his name on it, and he decides to enter it. There's a jukebox against the wall, and he tries to play some music, but instead this happens. Let's listen to some tunes. Hey kids, you like some tunes?
He took my baby away, then just about killed her, that stupid truck driver! He took my baby away!
What
that
music
shrill
is
voice
that?
Can only belong to that bitch Edna, my mother-in-law. She's always blamed me for Glynis being put into an insane asylum. Why not? It was my fault, wasn't it?
Dude, do we have any good music?
You don't ever take me dancing.
That's what Glynis said the night we fought. Oh God, why'd I have to hit her? I'd rather kill myself than hurt my poor Glynis.
But you didn't. Oh well. Happens to the best of us.
You're a worthless
Wait, no, it
excuse
doesn't.
for a man.
That's a joke. That's a
Mama
joke.
was right. You're not good enough.
Gorrister,
for me.
chill. Oh look, he's shook. He's shook. That's what I was looking for. Music. He walks behind the bar and drinks some whiskey to try and calm down. Gorrister decides he needs to pee and makes his way over to the bathroom. When he gets out of the bathroom, his father-in-law is sitting at the bar and he decides to talk to him.
Whose heart was impaled on the Zeppelin spike?
Looks like there's a thunderstorm on the horizon.
What's this about a thunderstorm?
You know, it's a big place, the desert. Got lost in it myself.
Whose heart was impaled on the Zeppelin spike?
Why, yours, of course. How'd you think we got here?
Let me pour you a drink. Harry, how did you get here?
The Zeppelin, Gorrister. We came on the Zeppelin.
Let me pour you a drink. What do you know about the Zeppelin?
You'll have to talk to Edna. She knows all about the Zeppelin. That's why we did it, you know.
Let me pour you a drink.
What happened in the dining
room?
I shouldn't have let her force me into it. I'm not a murderer.
Let me pour you a drink. Who did you kill?
Didn't look at the wreckage in the dining room too closely, did you? Or haven't you had to take a leak yet?
Let me pour you a drink. And just where is my dear mother-in-law?
I don't know. Good God, I can't stand the sight of her anymore. Can you imagine being kept alive for 109 years just to hear her carping?
That's all we're gonna get out of Harry for now, so Gorrister decides to leave out back to talk to a dog.
Well, Gorrister, You've seen
Hello,
better
dog.
days. So is the big machine, for that matter. I'm man's best friend. One of them, at least.
No. What are you really?
Let me answer with a riddle. Today I saw a Chinaman. Now what do you suppose that means?
You're Am. Playing with my mind again.
No, but I do have an in with the big machine. He and I are like brothers.
Why can't you give me a straight answer?
Like so many others down here, I'm cursed to speak in riddles. We all have our curses to bear. Eh, Gorrister?
Yeah? What's my curse?
After 109 years in the belly of the beast, I'd think you'd have a gut instinct by now.
Look, I'm getting tired of your smart mouth.
Come, Gorrister. Forgive and forget.
So you must know what lies across the mountains.
Freedom for some. If they're cut out for it. It's a long journey across the desert.
That desert doesn't look any worse than the other hellholes Am's cooked up for us.
Heed my words, Gorrister. You'd never make it alone out there. And don't expect me to be a good doggy and tag along.
What do you want?
I have a craving. A craving for something scrumptious. A human heart, perhaps. Yours.
Gorrister decides to give the dog his heart since he's in no place to negotiate.
I think I'll save this delicacy for later. You want to get across the mountains? Go to the restroom and flush 3 times.
We learned from the dog that the toilets are magical, which is why we're going back there to flush 5 times. 1 more time, sir. Actually, 2 more times. I use the bathroom a lot as well. I've been using it less. I've been consuming less salt. Turns out I was consuming way too much salt. Crazy stuff, crazy
meat
stuff.
locker.
What?
How'd I get bodies on meat hooks?
What
Am,
the
you
heck?
bastard! What have you done?
Hey, look at that woman. Who is
That's
that?
Edna, my mother-in-law.
What?
Oh, this is too good to be true. Edna, how did you get up there?
The Chinaman hung me here, Gorrister. Take me down!
Chinaman? What Chinaman?
He's one of the other 2. Am's not as omnipotent as he would have us believe.
Why should I help you?
I have to complete the contract and get the Zeppelin to the mountains, or the big machine will kill me.
You know how to fly the Zeppelin out of here?
You were once an electrician. You don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure it out.
Tell me how to fly the Zeppelin first, and then I'll help you.
No. Take me down and then I'll tell you.
It looks like I can't escape you, Edna. Even in the belly of Am.
Why would you want to escape from me, Gorrister? We're family after all.
You were always telling Glynis how much you hated me.
Now, Gorrister, I was just concerned about my baby. Glynis was so lonely with you always being out on the road. I know you were doing the best you could.
I've got nothing more to say to you.
Gorrister walks back into the bathroom and he decides to look in the urinal and finds a magnifying glass. He goes back into the Zeppelin and finds magical milk, and this is what he decides to do with it. Ah, the magical moo milk. Woo! Don't
stuff.
drink it!
But I feel stronger.
Okay. After he drinks the magical milk, he goes to the dining hall. He decides to use the magnifying glass to do some investigating and comes to this conclusion. Let's see.
Here's some hair that was pulled out during the fight. It's the same color as mine. And here's some that matches Harry's.
No!
Now I understand what happened here. I was the one you killed, wasn't I, you bastard?
I'm sorry, Gorrister.
Oh no.
Edna poisoned the punch, and after you drank it, I wrestled you to the ground. When the poison took effect, I cut you open.
Why did you kill me?
It's too complicated for me to explain. You'll have to ask Edna.
Gorrister goes back to the meat locker to confront Edna.
You bitch. I know all about your plot to murder me.
I had to make a deal with Am. I had to. I've always been
How
harsh
dare
on
you.
you, I admit. But we're the last people on Earth.
No, you're
Let's
not.
help
You
each
don't
other
live.
now.
I live.
Why should I trust my own murderer?
Alliances change, Gorrister. Something's gone wrong. Am's 2 Conrads don't listen to me anymore. I need you. And you need me. It's that simple. You truck-driving son of a bitch! This is for me and my baby!
Let me go.
We didn't give her the milk, so she shouldn't be strong enough to beat us up.
And if you think you'll ever escape me, you've got some new thinking to do.
Please,
see.
I'll do anything you ask.
I don't know what's come over me, Gorrister. Can you ever forgive me? I've been
Maybe.
hanging here for so long, I'm
Maybe.
not thinking straight. A sip of that milk will clear my head.
We're not gonna give her the milk, because if you do, this is what happens. Here's some milk.
Gorrister, you idiot! That fluid is what has kept us alive for all these 109 years. If it can do that, it can give me the strength to escape from this meat hook.
The fuck?
Let me down or I'll scratch your eyes out, you worthless excuse for a man!
Edna, you dropped a key.
I love how he's telling
Hand me
her.
back that key and let me down! I'm your only hope of getting out of here!
Sorry, Edna. I don't trust you as far as I can spit.
Let me prove my good intentions. I'll let you go. Now give me the key. Untie me, you son of a bitch! I'll rip your spleen out!
My
I'm
spleen.
taking you with me, Edna.
That's crazy. Just in our inventory. Gorrister takes Edna back to the Zeppelin and basically uses her to kickstart the engine.
I'll be
jeez.
damned. The engine's starting up again.
Using the key Edna dropped, he goes to the cockpit and reads her journal.
When Am took us down here before the war, I didn't know anyone could hate Gorrister more than me. But Am did. He hated all of us. If I can just deliver Gorrister's soul on a platter, I can make amends for every minute of Glynis's life I took from her. I never meant to drive her crazy.
I'll be damned. Edna's claimed responsibility for Glynis. Maybe it wasn't my fault after all.
I thought I could do what Am wants, but he's too precise. I poisoned the punch, but I couldn't bring myself to cut out Gorrister's heart. Maybe I can have my husband do it. Then this Zeppelin can clear the mountains. But if we don't finish the job, Am will feed me alive to the machine just like an animal.
Gorrister makes his way back to the meat locker and gives Glynis his magical milk.
This fluid should revive you, honey. Glynis, all these years and I thought I was the one who was responsible for your suffering. Let me help you now.
You. Just take her.
She's gone.
Aw, how cute.
At least I finally made amends with her. I'm taking her body out of this freezer.
After he takes Glynis down from the meat hook, he decides to cut out one of the hearts from the animals that hang there. After this, he goes out back to talk to the dog.
I found Edna and Glynis. How does that help me escape from here?
Such information comes at a price. But I can see that you're in no bargaining position. I'll offer you a trade. Your heart for Edna's. Ah, this is Edna's heart. A bitter organ, but worth its weight in gold to me.
I'm pretty sure cow hearts
give
are
you
like
your heart.
twice or 3 times the size of that of a human.
So how do I get out of here?
A heart brought you here, but it will take another organ to get you out. If you can harness its power.
I read Edna's logbook, and everything's much clearer. Now what?
You must make amends and bury the past, Gorrister.
To make peace with the past, Gorrister buries Glynis. We're just gonna shovel the dirt. What a weird dog. We're just gonna bury her, and apparently this is the right thing to do.
I've made amends and buried the past.
An excellent job, Gorrister. But the thunderstorm is upon us. You'd better hurry if you want to recharge your old ticker's battery.
He goes back up to the Zeppelin and uses the emergency inflating system to repair the Zeppelin. He makes his way over to the cockpit and flies the Zeppelin out of there. And there we go. We fly off.
We're taking off.
Before he can cross the mountains, there's one more thing he needs to do. What was that? Huh? Oh, we're good. I thought he died for a second. Oh, no.